Another essential skill is estimation and really thinking about how do we start to estimate what the values look like and how do we then start to throw that into the analysis that you're looking at. So, in terms of how to estimate and really building sort of that market sizing estimate, that budget estimate, is first off, you need to state your assumptions. Then pick some matrix, then estimate quickly with round numbers. And I think this is really important because often the team will come up, this is a solution. You need to estimate quickly whether or not this is financially feasible. And then you can start to throw numbers into the spreadsheet and carry that out. Because if you don't do this, it's much later in the resolution that the person doing the financing says, you know what, this is unrealistic in terms of we can't do this financially. And then you get to start all over. So this estimation helps you in order to make sure that at least initially that you've got some rough estimates that, yeah, this is something that's doable and we can go forward with it. You want to assess your approach and answers as you go through this, and then sort of keep the expectations and the next steps in mind, especially those of your audience, as you're going through and building what that financial analysis actually looks like in terms of your budgets, in terms of the return on the investment, and eventually the valuation and the profit of the companies that you're looking at. So one of the examples that I always use is daily long distance railway ticket sales in China. And so I make some assumptions along the way. And these are just here to make some easy numbers so we can do the calculation. So we've got a population of China is 1.4 billion. We've got a bunch of the population that doesn't work, therefore doesn't travel, is 40%. We've got a rural urban breakdown. And we're making the assumptions that rural residents don't have the money to travel as much as those urban residents. Average traveler makes 2 round trips per person per year, and a round trip equals 2 tickets. We can then throw those into numbers, and you'll notice here I've rounded the numbers off so that it makes the calculations relatively easy and gets us to the 4.1 million tickets a day in terms of our estimate of the number of tickets that are sold on a daily basis, which is actually really close to the 4 million tickets in 2012 that were actually being sold. Big thing here is it shows the process, so it shows your thinking. And when you're in a case competition, the judges will respect this. If you give them an idea in terms of this is how we got there, unless the numbers seem really, really out there, the judges are likely to accept this and won't ask a lot of questions. They see your logic, and that's the key piece here. In the real world, yes, you do have to be more precise, but this is at least an initial way to get these are what the rough numbers might look like and does it make sense in terms of what we're looking at in our solution. We also have this example here where we've got revenue from a hardware store that's $20 million. We have some event that happens. Before that event, we've got a profitable organization. After the event, we're starting to lose money. And the question is, why has this dropped? So we can then start to look at, we've got some numbers here. Big thing you'll notice here is the sales mix changes quite a bit. And what we've done in order to do this is we looked at the revenue and the costs. Revenues make up of price and quantity, costs, fixed and variable costs. To those, we can ask some questions. And so has something changed here? And when we get to the volume, it has the sales mix changed? Yes. And then we can start to go investigate why that's happening. In this case here, it was because of a reorganization of the store, which saw those low value, those low profit, those loss leaders become the items that they put in the middle when you go from top to bottom of the shelf, and those wind up at eye level, so those are the products that are bought. So it changed their sales mix. And when we do this, it gives us the ability to sort of track down some of the answers that we might be looking for as we go through.